Movies give us monsters we can see, ghosts we expect, endings that bring relief. But real horror? Real horror doesn't follow scripts. It doesn't wait for the music cue. It happens when you're alone. When you're sure nothing is there and something moves. Tonight, I'll share 4 stories. Each one absolutely true. Each one more terrifying than any movie. Welcome to Truth is Terror. Amanda was a 28-year-old teacher who'd just bought her first home in a quiet Colorado town. The house was small, 1 bedroom. 1 bathroom, but it had charm. Old brick, creaky floors, a fireplace. She couldn't wait to decorate for Christmas. From day 1, she noticed a weird smell. A rotten, putrid stench like something dead. It came and went, but got stronger at night. She called pest control. They found nothing. Then came the noises. It started with soft taps in the walls, then scraping. One night, she heard dragging, something moving through the vents. She barely slept. One evening, while grading papers on the couch, she heard a loud thud inside the chimney. She froze. Then, breathing, low, raspy, coming from behind the bricks. Amanda called the police. They arrived, pried open the chimney's flue, and found something they'd never forget. A man, naked, wedged upside down, dead. His fingernails were cracked and broken. When they checked the soot-filled walls, there were scratch marks, like he had tried to claw his way out. The man had no ID, no reports of a missing person. He hadn't broken in. He'd tried to enter through the chimney. The coroner estimated he'd been there at least 2 weeks, watching, listening. Amanda moved out that month. But for years afterward, she could still smell the stench of rotten flesh, and on cold nights, she swears she can still hear breathing in the walls. Emily was staying at a historic hotel in Edinburgh. Built in the 1800s, the place was beautiful and old. Her room had antique furniture, creaky floors, and a massive floor-length mirror across from the bed. The first night, she thought she saw someone standing in the reflection, but when she turned, nothing. She passed it off as jet lag. The second night, she sat on the edge of the bed brushing her hair, and that's when she saw it again. Her reflection wasn't brushing. It just stared at her frozen. Emily froze too. Then slowly, the reflection smiled. She jumped up and turned, nothing behind her. She left the room immediately and asked to be moved. Staff didn't argue, they simply asked, "Did you see her too?" Turns out, guests have been reporting the mirror woman for decades. Always the same, long black hair, frozen grin, no blink. Hotel staff covered the mirror the next day. But Emily still wakes up at night, feeling like someone's watching her. And in every mirror, she checks, just to be sure it blinks. Jason worked maintenance at a psychiatric hospital in upstate New York. The job was mostly routine. Busted lights, clogged pipes, nothing unusual. Until one winter during a snowstorm. A nurse reported power issues in an old, unused wing. The North Ward, they called it. It hadn't been occupied since the 1970s. Too many deaths, too much history. Jason went in alone. The wing was freezing, power flickered. His boots echoed as he walked on the tile floor. As he turned down the hallway, he heard a woman's voice, soft, pleading. "Please, help me." It was coming from room 214. He unlocked the door. It was empty, just rotting drywalls and dust. The voice came again, clearer now. "He buried me here." Jason's blood ran cold. He backed out the room. Suddenly, the air dropped. Frost crept up the walls. Then, bang, 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 fists pounded from inside the wall. He ran, locked the wing behind him, didn't look back. The next week, contractors were sent in to gut the unit. Behind the wall in room 214, they found a hollowed space. Inside, they found a woman's skeleton. still wearing a 1960s nurse's uniform. Her name tag read Margaret Kane, a nurse who had vanished without a trace. Hospital staff believed she was murdered by a fellow employee and walled in, forgotten. But one thing is for sure, she wasn't silenced. In 2015, Megan's family moved into a classic two-story home in New Jersey. It had been abandoned for over a decade, but they loved the charm and the huge attic. While helping her dad clean it out, Megan found an old Polaroid camera, still loaded. She snapped a few pictures. Her younger brother sitting on the couch, her parents painting the wall. But when the first photo developed, Megan screamed. In the background, just beyond the frame, there was a woman standing in the hallway. Pale, hollow eyes, her head tilted, almost upside down. They checked, but the hallway, empty. More photos developed. Each one, the woman was there. Sometimes in the doorway. Sometimes in the reflection of the TV. Once behind Megan's shoulder, just inches away. They destroyed the film. But for some reason, they kept the camera. But the next morning, there was a new Polaroid on the kitchen table. Megan wasn't in it, but her mother was asleep in bed. The woman was standing in the doorway watching her mother sleep. The family brought in a paranormal team. They set up cameras and EMF detectors. Nothing happened. Then one night, around 3:13 a.m., a single Polaroid was ejected by the camera. No one had touched it. It showed the attic, empty, except for the woman. And this time she was smiling. The family decided to throw the camera in the trash. And from that day, nothing ever happened. The family lived in peace. Some horror stories are made for popcorn and jump scares, but the real ones, they linger, they follow you home. They change the way you look at mirrors, closed doors, or even photos on your phone. If these stories kept you up tonight, you're not alone, because in the dark, something might be watching, listening. Subscribe to Truth is Terror, and always remember, some true horror stories are still being written. Sleep well.